Good morning, Bronwen. Great to see you this morning.
Good morning, Chris. Thanks for having me on. I'm very excited about the upcoming virtual Christmas market.
Me too, as well. I mean, this is fantastic. So we've got Bronwen from Rogue Opera here, who's going to talk us through her show and what she's going to bring to us. So, do you want to introduce yourself a bit, Bronwen, about who you are and a little bit about your opera company?
Absolutely. So my name's Bronwen Stevens-Harding. I'm the director of Rogue Opera, and before 2020 we specialised in bringing all kinds of bespoke in-person events with opera. We'd have full productions, we'd do fundraising events, and then of course COVID hit and we needed to find a way to adapt. So over the first lockdown I did a lot of tech testing and live streaming on Facebook and YouTube. And then sort of in the gap between the first and second lockdown, I decided to launch my own membership VIP Pass platform. So it's an online platform where we have weekly live shows, we have amazing on-demand performances by our Rogue Opera singers, and we have lots of behind-the-scenes content where we really try and unpack some of the mystery of opera for people who perhaps are not so familiar with it.
Fantastic, and I have to say, so I've actually joined Bronwen's site. Actually, I joined last week, so I'm now your newest member.
That's right.
And what a fantastic archive on there. I mean, there's so much to go through. And you do a show. Is it 4 shows a month that you do?
Yes, yeah. So every Friday at the moment, we will have a couple of weeks off at Christmas. So it averages about, slightly less than 52 weeks a year. But, every Friday at the moment we go live and each show is themed. So it's about a sort of half an hour through to 45-minute show, depending how much we chat. And it's a curated show. So it's myself and my music director, Guy Murgatroyd. And we always have a theme. So this week's theme is Swan Songs. Last week's theme was Triumph. And around that theme, we'll pick 3 or 4 opera pieces. Some of them will be performed live by myself or other guests in the studio, and then some of them will be video content because of the social distancing. Some of our singers still can't actually come to the studio to perform. Yeah. We sort of do a live show every week, and part of the thing that we've received great feedback is, and I believe you said it the same for yourself, Chris, for people who perhaps don't know much about opera or think opera isn't about them, we really provide a bridge into that. So, before every piece on the live show, we'll talk about it, we'll give a little background of the characters and the stories, and Guy, the music director, will sort of play a little motif on the piano so you can listen out for that during the aria. So we really try and make it accessible. And then having said that, we've also got people who are long-time opera fans on the platform, and they just love dipping into their favourites, and then also some sort of, hidden gems that we bring to audiences as well.
Great. So you're really catering, and yeah, as you say, it sometimes can be a bit intimidating for newcomers to opera. So you really lay that out well, and that's what I felt immediately at home when I was looking around the platform to think, oh yeah, this is something that I can enjoy. Fantastic. So now we'll be talking on Sunday with you about. So I've got lots of questions which I'll leave until then.
Okay.
About how you changed your business from this offline model to an online one. I mean, that's a great story in itself during lockdown, and one that I think many people will be interested in, and bringing this in. So you've talked about the different type of shows that you do. So let's see now one of the first shows. So let's just introduce this first show piece that you're going to do, and we'll have a little clip of that.
Sure. So the first thing that we'll play is what we call Seco 60, and it's one of our behind-the-scenes videos. And this is Guy's brainchild and baby. So every week he takes 60 seconds in a video to unpack a piece of opera or classical music terminology, and he presents it in a great way. So he has a spoken overview, but then there's really fun images. So, in 60 seconds, you get a kind of a rapid fire definition of, say, aria or baritone or opus. And then those, of course, go onto the platform and you can sort of watch them back at your leisure. So, yeah, we'll be seeing one of those.
Okay, let's have a look at one of those now.
Hello and welcome to Seco 60, where each week I look at a different aspect of operatic terminology in just 60 seconds. This week I'm looking at the term maestro. Define maestro. It is an honorific title used when addressing or referring to a music teacher, conductor or soloist of eminent professional standing. It's also used in many other performing and visual arts in similar acknowledgement of respect and talent. Where did the term come from? Maestro is Italian for master and or teacher. Up until the mid-19th century, the maestro di cappella was the director of all musical activities at courts and churches. The cappella portion of the title means church, and maestro di cappella translates as master of the church style. This is because it was the use of music in church during the Renaissance that caused it to develop into such a refined form of art. As a result, to be considered a custodian of such a craft became a very high honour. The maestro di cappella's duties included composing, conducting, leading rehearsals, performing as a soloist, and all of the necessary admin and organisation required in between. The term today. In a small company such as Rogue Opera, the musical director occupies a very similar position to that as a maestro di cappella in terms of both the variety and also the number of responsibilities. However, most of the music we deal with now is definitely not in the church style.
Okay, that was fantastic. So I really like the way that that's just given a very something that's a mysterious term now. We can now know a lot more about what that means. What a great way to introduce the topic for people who are new.
Yeah. And we did have some feedback from some viewers that actually Guy speaks a little bit fast sometimes. So if you go onto the archive on the platform, you can actually see the transcript as well. If you really want to memorise the definitions or just, sort of haven't quite caught all of his information that he's putting in there. So that's another feature of the platform.
Another way you can see it as well. Fantastic. So good. Okay. Well, that was brilliant. Okay. So what have you got for us next?
So next is one of our video performances. So this was filmed actually during the first lockdown when we weren't able to have guests in the studio, and we got more and more ambitious. So we started off with individual live performances from me, and then we had individual arias by video performance from a number of my singers. And then I thought, well, I've conquered that. How about for next week I try a duet? And then we conquered a duet, and that involved people recording, the piano part and then the two vocal parts being recorded separately. And then that was a great success. And so then I thought, well, let's go to the next step and try an ensemble with 3 people. So what you're going to see is a beautiful ensemble from a Mozart opera called Così fan tutte, and it's one of Mozart's best opera buffers, which is a comic opera, but underneath is quite a kind of, as it always is with Mozart, quite a sort of socially, serious message. And so Così fan tutte translates as that's just the way women are. And the premise of the opera is that women are always going to cheat and men are the ones who are going to be faithful. But throughout the opera, you end up seeing that actually all the characters are human and fallible, and sort of Mozart's commentary is really, well, everybody's got that in them. But this particular trio is called Soave sia il vento, and it's right at the beginning of the opera, and the 2 female characters, 2 sisters, are waving off their fiancés. They think they might never see them again. They're sailing off to go to war, and so there's a trio between the 2 sisters and an older character called Don Alfonso, and they're singing to the waves and the sea to please be calm and gentle and to bring their lovers back to them safely.
Right, let's have a look at that now.
Oh
Wow, that was powerful. And you've got 3 synchronized singers there together.
That's right. Yes.
That must have been some technical feat.
Yeah, it took a bit of editing. So as well as, being a performer and a stage director and a business owner, I'm now becoming a video editor and a live stream producer. So wearing all the hats at the moment. But, trying to get that sort of sense of all of us being together, took some Zoom calls, and we did some sort of rehearsals, which is quite difficult over Zoom, and then but we all managed to bring it together. And while it's nothing like being together on stage, we had great fun making that as a piece of performance art.
It really is. I mean, and I have to say, I've spoken to a number of musicians during lockdown who all really say the same thing: is it's not really possible to do group performances on Zoom and these things, which because of the technical synchronization issues. But actually, what you've done there, so it is actually possible. So, but you just have to. It's a lot of work, but you can actually make a beautiful piece.
That's right, yeah, and the thing about all the video performances on our site and the ones that we present each week in the show is that we see they're still a live performance. They're 1 take, 2 cameras. So even if the artist is in their lounge room, they're singing as if they're on stage, and they're performing through the camera lens to the audience.
Yeah. It's great. Okay, that is fantastic. And what's the final piece you've got for us today?
So the final piece, a lot of the live show each week is really me and Guy chatting. So I like to call it, it's a curated show. It's kind of like a cabaret. There's a lot of banter and conversation. So I'm just going to play a sort of a little segment of us introducing the show and talking about the theme. So just to give you a taste of what each show is like. It's not all just music. There's a lot of chat that goes on as well.
Right, let's have a look at that then.
Good afternoon and welcome to show number 7, and this is on the theme of troublemakers. So I like to think troublemakers as overall a positive influence, even though ultimately sometimes they are literally there to cause lots of trouble for other people. But particularly in opera, these characters are often the comic characters. They're the ones that, even though they're scheming and manipulating, you as the audience really connects with them and is rooting in a way for their troublemaking schemes to succeed, because in the end that's what makes the story so much fun. So fate is one of those topics in opera that is born for music. The whole thing about fate is it's foreboding, it's troublesome, it makes you feel things in a very deep way, and music is one of those wonderful mediums in which to really embrace and portray this very big topic. So it's my pleasure to hand over for the first time live today to music director Guy Murgatroyd, who is going to give you a little bit of an introduction to the aria that Max Laurie will sing for you and give you some of the musical motifs that really bring out this theme of fate.
This aria, which we're about to hear from the character Don Jose, is all about vulnerability, which is always that bit more fascinating when it comes to a male character, because of course traditionally, especially in opera, male characters don't show any vulnerability. And in this aria, it builds and it builds and it builds to quite an incredible but very inner climax. And I just want to give you a sketch of this, because obviously it's far more thrilling to experience it from a full performance of the aria by a singer rather than analysis by me. So to break it down, Jose begins by talking of his intoxication. And when he mentions the words intoxication, the harmony is extremely bright.
Okay, fantastic. So that gives a real flavour of you and Guy work really well together. I've got that kind of rapport together on screen, which I think really brings the whole show to life.
Great.
So good. Right. So how do we? So your rogueopera.co.uk.
That's correct,
That's your
yes.
site.
The VIP pass is actually vip.rogueopera.co.uk. But if you went to the main website, you'd find us very quickly to the VIP link as well.
You can do that. And so what's, just to recap then, what does someone get for their pass?
Sure. So you get your 4 live shows a month. You also get access to the archive, which is constantly growing. We have great interviews, which we didn't have time to show you today. But I've been interviewing industry professionals, from directors to choreographers, lighting technicians. I had a fantastic female fight performer and fight choreographer on the other day. So, really people sharing their experiences of performance in theatre, which are just fascinating.
Yeah, great. And is this something that someone can buy as a gift for somebody else?
They certainly can. Thank you for the setup question there, Chris. Yes, so you can sign up yourself as a member, and that can be a monthly, or you can sign up for a year if you want to save 2 months. You get for free, or you can buy it as a gift, and you can buy a 1 month, a 3 month, or a 12-month gift pass for somebody, and then that gives them full access to the site for that period of time. So it's a really great gift for somebody, and the 1 month gift starts at just $9.95. So it's a really affordable but really unique gift this Christmas, particularly when perhaps sending physical presents. We've all given a lot of money to Amazon this year, so this is a nice way to do something a bit different.
That is. I mean, if you are stuck for inspiring Christmas gifts, I mean, what else could open up a whole? Give someone 3 months of a world of opera that they can just go in at their leisure. How fantastic would that be to take you through the rest of the winter and the lockdown period we've got? So I think that's a great gift idea. Super. So fantastic to talk to you this morning, Bronwen. I look forward to seeing your booth, and certainly look forward to your shows over the weekend and talking to you on Sunday a bit more. And people will have a chance to talk to you in person about your show and about your journey so far.
Yeah, that would be great. I'm happy to answer any questions. It's it's nice to share experiences with everyone, and yeah, it'd be really nice to have a Q&A, particularly if people have managed to catch the live show on the Friday. Then they might want to have some specific questions about that. So the live show will be a sort of slightly extended version of what you would get on the Friday weekly shows.
Great, fabulous. Good. Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining me this morning, Bronwen, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye now.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Bye.
Bye.